Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Oops. Hey everyone, welcome to J is for Justice. Welcome. We have some really bad news going on up in Michigan. This is my neck of the woods, guys. This is only like 15, 20 minutes from where I grew up. This is right near my hometown, and this is also the same county as the Oxford school shooting. This is absolutely tragic. So we have this man, if I call him a man, pulled up. We don't know much about him yet. We're going to have a press conference in about 30 minutes. So bear with me. I'm trying to get everything up to speed here, but welcome in. Welcome to J is for Justice. Hit that like button. I want to give you guys an update on the splash pad shooting in Michigan. So around 5 p.m., this man pulled up to this splash pad. And if you're familiar with this area, it's actually DeQuinder and Auburn Road area in Rochester Hills. We have a man who got out of his car and started shooting. And we're going to watch some clips of videos and stuff. He shot 28 times. And they're saying it's random. They're saying it's random right now. They recovered a semi-automatic handgun and 3 magazines at the scene. Multiple people were shot, including at least one child who is 8 years old. The suspect was contained near the splash pad in the DeQuinder Estates mobile home park. This is about 25 miles north of Detroit. Oakland County Sheriff Mike Broussard is going to give us an update at 11, but he told the reporters that the preliminary information shows that the shooting appeared to be random. The suspect allegedly exited a vehicle, opened fire on the splash pad, reloaded, opened fire again, and then left. 9 people were struck, including that 8-year-old child. And there's no updates on the conditions of the vehicle. Autumn, please don't come in here and tell me to be politically correct. I'm not politically correct. I said he. What the fuck are you talking about, Z? Z your ass. Zip it. Zip your lip, Autumn, with your bullshit tonight. I'm not in the mood. A kid's splash pad was just randomly shot upon. Don't come in here with me about pronouns, Autumn. I can't. So let's take a look at some of the pictures that we have coming out of this scene right now. This is actually live. Let's watch some live footage right here.
Oakland County Sheriff?
Yes.
At 11 o'clock, the undersheriff also confirmed to me that there will be an 11 p.m. press conference at the sheriff's office.
And we think that the suspect is dead. We think allegedly he's dead. We don't know for sure, but it's being said that we don't know if he offed himself or if the police took care of him.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, a much quieter scene. And when we came to Dave, the last time we came to Dave before he went over to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, he was trying to walk up to Sheriff Mike Broussard and ask a question. And at that time, the sheriff said, "Hey, we got this news conference."
All right. Well, we're going to now go to a break. We expect to be back for you on air.
Okay. So while they take their break, I'm going to give you an idea of the size of this trailer park, okay? So right here, let me zoom out a little bit. So what you see on your screen right there, that whole block, that's the entire trailer park. So it said that this happened, that this guy is holed up in the back. You guys just ignore Autumn. She does this every time. She does this all the time. She comes in with her bullshit. My pronouns are try me. You want to know what Scott H's are? These are Scott H's pronouns.
Look directly off.
Yes, tons of prayers for everyone involved. We don't have any updates on any of this. But that's how big this place is. So it said that they were in the back, but the news guy, and I'm going to show you some videos in a minute. The news people were all right here at this entrance of DeQuinder and that's Willowwood right there. This is Hamlin Road is up there if you're familiar with this area, but this is the entrance to this trailer park right here. This is where the media was stationed. So they were sitting here at this entrance, but meanwhile, you know, they were all the way in the back. Probably back here, and I don't think we can't drop down there. So, but the trailer park's behind all these trees and stuff, so you can't really see much. But here's a couple videos from X. Hold on. Don't trip, Jay. I got you. Thanks. I ain't tripping, though. I'm really not. Let's go up here and switch over to X. And this is the sheriff from earlier.
What do you know about the shooter?
So far, again, this is all super preliminary. It appears like the individual pulled up, exited a vehicle, approached the splash pad, opened fire, reloaded, opened fire, reloaded, left. So appears very random at this point, appears random, no connectivity to the victims.
How far is the house that this person is in? How far is it?
Within a half mile.
What do you know about the shooter?
So far, again, this is all super.
That's just a Google image of the splash pad, like from 11 months ago. Here's another video inside the trailer park here. Watch this.
Bare ass.
Watch this.
Over here? I think over here?
Well, you know, the bare ass park. Well, it's not.
That's the one it is, right? Right there by
there's only been one.
Metro PC.
Oh, that's sniper.
Oh.
Yep, sniper rifle.
Of course, Daddy knows every.
They're gonna cap this dude.
Daddy knows all the weaponry.
That's not gonna come out.
Yeah, they're gonna cap.
You hear this shit? Daddy knows all the weaponry. That is so disturbing to me. Why are these little kids watching this? What? Mr. Saint. Standing out there with a beer and shit. The hell? This is insanity. Hey, Bunny. Good to see you. I know, Amy. It's what can I say? Welcome to Michigan.
Hey everybody, I want to give you a breaking news update regarding a mass shooting here in Rochester Hills, Michigan. It appears a gunman opened fire at a child's splash pad. This is the scene. It's at the Brooklands Plaza splash pad on East Auburn Road in Rochester Hills. And we know at this point 9 to 10 people have been shot. At least one child, an 8-year-old, is in critical condition. I'm going to run you through all the details I just got from Sheriff. Now, this happened just after 5 p.m. on Saturday. And at this point that I'm filming this, it's 8 o'clock. The scene's still active, but I'm going to give you the most up-to-date information that I have. So we know that 9, maybe 10 people are gunshot victims. One of the people that were shot was a child who was 8 years old, and they're in critical condition. At the scene of the splash pad, they found a handgun and 3 empty magazines, gun magazines. So they say that means the suspect fired as many as 28 times. They say what they think happened is the suspect drove up to the splash pad. On the other side of that white car are stairs that lead to the splash pad that's there at that blue building. They believe that the suspect drove up, got out of their car, walked towards those steps and opened fire, again, as many as 28 times. Right now at 8 o'clock, they tell us that the suspect has been contained to a home nearby. They found the suspect by following a car that was seen leaving the scene. They followed that car to a home where the suspect is inside but is not coming out, and he's currently surrounded. They don't know if the suspect is still armed at this point, and they say they do believe that he is in that home alone. They say they believe that this shooting was random, but they're going to continue to investigate. As far as the suspect, all we know is that it was a man. Again, this is still a developing situation here in Rochester Hills, Michigan. We'll, of course, keep you posted, but at this point we know 9 or 10 people, gunshot victims, and at least one child is in critical condition.
Critical. For going to a splash pad. Unbelievable, man. Let's see.
A lot of people got shot.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Oh my God. These raw videos on X are no fucking joke. Holy. What the hell? Yeah, I think the shooter's deceased, guys. We're getting an update from the sheriff in about 19 minutes. This is a raw video from Mike Smitty. Mike Smitty.
A lot of people got shot.
How many?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Oh my God. Did you hear somebody say, "Someone help me"? Hi, John Gone Girl. Did you hear someone say, "Someone help me"? Right there. Someone help me. Oh my God. That is.
A lot of people got shot.
How many?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
That is horrible.
Listening to a new technology we deploy called Live 911. He heard the call come in before it was even dispatched and immediately self-directed himself to this. He was on scene within 2 minutes. One of our sergeants from Rochester Hills was actually listening to a new technology we deploy called Live 911. He heard the call come in before it was even dispatched and immediately self-directed himself to this. He was on scene within 2 minutes.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. So they have a new technology where they're hearing the calls before the dispatcher can dispatch them out. He was there within 2 minutes. Here's some more video, guys. This is Mike Smitty. That's the same video again, I think. Maybe not. Oh my God.
A lot of people got shot.
How many?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
That one doesn't have any audio. Thanks for joining, guys. I know this is absolutely shocking. Potato's right. To target a place where kids are having fun and families are. Here, this is the video from inside the trailer park again.
Over here? Hit the guy over here?
Well, you know, the bare ass park. Well, it's not.
That's the one it is, right? Right there
Yeah,
by
there's only been one.
Metro PC.
Oh, that's sniper.
Oh.
Yep, sniper rifle.
Of course, Daddy knows every.
They're gonna cap this dude.
Daddy knows
Well,
all
if
the
you don't come out,
weaponry.
he must not gonna come out.
Yeah, they're gonna cap.
Even Streamlabs is shook. Hi, Karen and Sirius and Kathleen and Grace. Criminal. T-Dub, what's up? Look at this, you guys. This is chilling. That's not even the whole picture. Hold on. This guy is a madman. Look at this. Who does this? Oops. Who does this? Unbelievable. I saw that and I was like, oh my God. There was another picture where there was a car that was full of bullets.
We are live outside of the Rochester Hill Shelby Township border here at DeQuinder and Willowwood. Across the street is where the active shooter is said to be, inside of a trailer. The SWAT team has already gone in. We've got Dave Spencer over here with Fox News, right here waiting for his guy with the cameras.
Let's see what's going on here. Let's go back to the regular news for a minute. Let's switch. We're going to switch our coverage live on the scene. You are live with Jay is for Justice. Have you hit that like button yet?
A short time ago, and we're going to be able to turn that sound around for you in a little bit. But he was, this is an unbelievable story. He was hanging out outside and at his house, which is nearby, and someone drove by and yelled out the window to him that there was a mass shooting at the splash pad. So he jumped in his car. He has a first aid kit in his car. So he's not a trained professional, but he was literally the first person on the scene. And started rendering first aid, doing tourniquets, trying to stop the bleeding. He said that, there was a lot of blood. He said it's a kind of a blur for him.
Welcome, Dunya Business.
But he would just remember trying to help people, trying to get them to calm down, trying to get them to lay down. He said there were people screaming, and he said he just went into action until the EMTs came, and then he said, of course, he let them take over because they're the trained professionals. But he, he has quite a story to tell, and I know we're going to be sharing that personally with you when we're able to get that back into the studio. In the meantime, though, as you said, Sheriff Broussard absolutely devastated. Of course, Congressman John James with him, and the mayor of Rochester Hills. Take a listen to what they said earlier tonight.
Went up to the steps, opened fire. It looks like he reloaded, maybe possibly as he was ascending the steps.
From how far away would you say? Hard to tell.
Probably 20
What's up,
feet.
Brian?
It appears to be a random active shooter.
I can only imagine what it's like to arrive on a scene like this, and certainly complete thoughts with the families right now. This is a great community, and it's heartbreaking to see this happen here.
Under no circumstance in this country, particularly in Rochester Hills, should fathers be spending Father's Day in a hospital. This is an American epidemic that we need to fix.
Father's Day weekend, too. This is Rochester Hills, Michigan. Oakland County. This is about 30 miles north of Detroit.
Gun violence needs to stop.
Thank you so much, Ben.
We are now most recently hit hardest by it.
Thank you,
And
Ben.
back live here, we're a little bit of a way, but you can see still an active crime scene right now. Police will be here for hours and hours. They've actually brought in the Salvation Army truck, which provides food because that's how long. I mean, they've already been here since 5 o'clock. We'll probably be here definitely into the night as we go on and into the morning hours processing this crime scene. We know that this shooter did drop his gun, and we know that they've recovered that obviously at the scene, and at least 28 rounds of ammunition.
So they didn't know if he had any guns in the house either. Brian, oh my gosh. Brian says, I just sent you an email, just got home, just found out about this. My daughter lives really close to this splash pad. Well, I hope your daughter's okay, Brian. That's scary. Too close to home.
These kind of mass shootings.
This is 20 minutes from my hometown.
We saw a show of support. A congressman, the mayor, the sheriff, all working in collaboration here to do what they need. Obviously, there is the toll, the emotional toll on the people who are involved, but this affects the entire community. What have you heard from folks who are tangentially related to this?
Yeah, well, the witness that I spoke with, he said that he actually knew some of the people because this is kind of a tight-knit community in this particular part of Rochester Hills, and he's lived here all his life. He said there was a grandfather that had been shot several times in the stomach, and he knew him. He knows him, I should say. All the people still alive right now, as far as we know. But, some of the people, the bystanders, they just came by. I mean, they were...
She just said a grandfather was shot in the stomach several times. I can't handle it. I can't handle this. This is horrible. A grandfather, y'all, with his grandkid.
Close to home, again in Oakland County. We're still talking about Oxford. We're still thinking about Oxford. That school shooting, now this. We pray that no one here dies. But again, we know 8 people shot, some of them children and some of them in critical condition. It's a lot to process. It really is. And I know we'll be talking about this in the days and the weeks and the months to come. And now that shooter is no longer here, we will have so many questions that we're never going to get answered, that we're never going to know why. Why did he pick this place? Why today? Why? So many people on social media have talked about how he was just so calm, and he just walked up and just started shooting and then got in his car and then left. A lot to unpack here. Hillary, back to you.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time, the emotional toll for the people who are involved. But you have to think also about the first responders. You have to think about the lawmen and women who were out there, who are thinking of their own children tonight. You have to think about the doctors and the medical professionals who are likely trying to save lives.
We'll listen to this audio, but I'm going to get this ready for the
out there on the
press
scene,
conference.
having to talk to people who saw this firsthand. All of us are in this together, and we're praying for those victims. Thank you, Camille and Mary, live for us tonight.
And to follow Camille's update, we did get an update from Fox News' Jessica Dupnack, and her sources are saying that the suspected gunman died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Coward.
And the initial reports are that the suspected gunman lived at that home with a family member. Of course, we're going to, in about 9 minutes from now, get an update from Oakland County Sheriff Mike Broussard at a news conference at the Oakland County.
Okay, so they just said that the gunman took his own life. And that he lived in the home that they went to. Look
Microphone check 1 2 3
mic
4
checks.
5. Check,
Hot
1, 2.
mics.
Okay, thanks, Megan. Mic check 1 2 1 2 3 4 5.
You got it?
Yep.
It does work?
Yeah, it works.
Oh, okay.
Little behind the scenes with Jay is for Justice with WXYZ Channel 7 Detroit. And then he offs himself. Right. I wonder who he lived with. I'm going to guess it's a late 20, early 30s, lived with mom or grandma. That's my guess. Late 20s, early 30s, lived with mom or grandma. They may not even tell us all this.
No, it's
yet.
Mike. It says Mike Love. It's Mike Love. Yeah. Oh, no, well, I'll take 24.
Hey, Henry, it's Timothy. So the signal shows like Detroit Pool 2.
What we got?
And why target a place where there's families, right? Love you too, Justice for All.
Microphone check 1 2 3 4 5. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, no.
Nick,
yes.
5 minutes, guys. Get your shit together.
Okay. Microphone check 1 2 3 4 5. Check 1 2.
No confirmed deaths. Oh my God, I'm muting them. I can't deal. So what we have right now is I think they said 10 people shot. The shooter is unalived by his own doing. The youngest victim that we know of as of now is 8. And that child is in critical condition. And that child and his family or her family need all the prayers tonight. There was a grandfather shot several times in the stomach. This is horrific. We have about 4 minutes until the press conference starts, and we'll hopefully get more answers. Let me know. Put a 1 in chat if you're tuning in from Michigan tonight. Put a 1 in chat. Let me know what county you're tuning in from tonight. I'm a Michigander. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jay. I'm off camera because it's late tonight, but welcome to Jay is for Justice. And I'd like to know where you're tuning in from. I grew up in Romeo myself, so this is very close to home for me. My son used to live in Auburn Hills, so it hits very close to home. I don't like it. The same with the Oxford school shooting. You know, it was great time to hit that like as well. CO. Windsor, you may as well be in Detroit, Kathleen. Jackie from Ireland. Grand Rapids, Wayne County, Milwaukee, Plymouth, Wayne, Isabella. I don't know where that is, Jelly Bean. Is that up north? Macomb, grew up in Northville. 20 minutes away, Angel Panda. Oakland. Hey, Karen D. Wayne. Warren. Wayne County. Oakland County. Hey, Nathan. Macomb Township. Hey, Julie. Washtenaw. Welcome in, my Michigan family. One Feather. Hey, Oakland County. Welcome in, my Michigan family. Sheboygan. Ypsilanti. Clinton Township. I used to work in Clinton Township, JC. Right at 15 in Gratiot. South Haven, Kalamazoo. Mount Pleasant. You worked in Rochester Hills, Zoomer. Welcome, all my Michigan fam. Sterling Heights. You moved from Sterling Heights to Nova Scotia. Wow, quite the move. Brian is here in Orlando, and his daughter lives in Rochester Hills. Thankfully, his daughter is okay tonight. Berkeley. Welcome in, welcome in. Debbie from Detroit-ish. I have a little sound bite while we wait for my mitten people. I love you guys, and if you are new here, I do play sound bites to kind of break up the monotony. But this is for my Detroit people.
It's so cold in the D. How the fuck do we supposed to keep peace?
There's my Youper. There is my Youper. What's up, Youper? Jamie, Rochester Hills. Mount Pleasant. I'm familiar with Mount Pleasant. Thank you, Wayne Randalls, for your super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you. 21 and Romeo Plank. It's a small world. It's a small world. I'm going to put some audio on so we don't miss anything. Oh, man. Macomb Township, hey, UPOS. UPOS from the holler. That's a funny name. Your husband owns the dive shop there. Where, JC? I don't remember what we were talking about. You know, I forget things really quick. What's up? What's up, Scout? Thank you, Scout. Montcalm County. Where is that? Is that up north, Cat? Thank you for subscribing. If you're new here, get comfy. We are just waiting for this press conference to start with the sheriff of Oakland County.
Check 1 2. Check. Checking 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3.
Hello, Ricky in Indiana.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. 1 2 1 2 3.
Canadian Nana. Yeah, you're pretty much in Detroit, right? Which bridge though? Sarnia or Detroit? Princess, why did they wait till the last minute? I have no idea. Wow, Julie's at 24 in Plank. Oh, yeah, 15 in Gratiot. Yeah, my work. What did you ask again? Now I got to go back up and see what you asked. It's late, JC. Oh, I worked for, okay, so it's not there anymore. It was, I worked for a hospice company, and we had office space at 15 in Gratiot. It was, you know, the bar with the, I hate to say this, but this is how I described where our office was. It was pretty bad. But next door, we had the bar with the green tarp, with the green, like canopy. It's like a dive bar, and it was right next to our office. I don't know if you know where I'm talking about. Excuse me. North of Lansing, right in the middle of the mitten. Hello, Miss Robin. Hello, Miss Misty. Hello, Miss Kells. Wayne Randalls, thank you again for your generous super chat. He chose Father's Day weekend. So does this guy have daddy issues? Is he mad about his dad or something? Is it going to be some kind of bullshit? You know, these guys have one job. They have one job, y'all. I sent you an email about Madeline Soto. Spent an hour typing you a timeline for cell phone info. Oh, okay, that's you. Sometimes I don't match names with emails. Hi, Karen D. Welcome in. Hey, Andy. Hey, Truth Seeker. Hi, Kate. Hi, Linda C. I already said hi to you, Linda C. Hi, Tracy V. Good to see you. Just to give you guys a quick recap, we had a maniac open fire on a kid's splash pad. in Rochester Hills, Michigan, and then he drove home. He went home and took his own life. Grace Green says, Jay, maybe he's separated and couldn't be around his kids and lost his mind. No, they've definitely done big pressers. This is Oakland County. This is where the Oxford school shooting took place. Was also Oakland County. Memphis in the house. You found me from Memphis, Michigan. Whoop, whoop. I know where Memphis is. Little ass town up there. Memphis, Armada. I love it out there. Love it.
You're awesome.
Just because they said preliminarily it was random doesn't mean it will be. Seems like an awful weird place to randomly target, doesn't it? Well, they said that it was his home and he lived there with somebody, with a family member. So I don't know if it's like a mom or like his grandma. Who knows? You know, why did they do that? Why do they zoom? Late night for these reporters and for us. Ireland, Kim A. The M3 Gratiot Pub. Yes, that's it. That's it. M3 Gratiot Pub. Yep. We used to walk next door after work and have a couple beers. Play some Keno. Hello, Tucson, Arizona. Your bio mom is in Ascota. Ascota is beautiful. Right on Lake Huron. Clarkston. Give me some mac and cheese from the Clarkston Union. How about a beer and mac and cheese at the Clarkston Union? Maybe the person he lived with was at the splash pad.
We're actually inside the Oakland County Sheriff's Office right now. You can see that podium behind me. We're waiting for Sheriff Michael Broussard to come in and give us an update. But we do know that the suspect is deceased. Investigators found him deceased inside a home at the DeQuinder Estates housing complex. Earlier today, we got that update just after 10 o'clock. Police have also updated the number of victims. 8 people were injured at that splash pad shooting. Initially, they said there were 10 victims. There are now 8 victims confirmed injured, not 10 victims. Like I said, we're waiting for an update right now, but what we do know is that the suspect opened fire seemingly at random, according to police earlier this afternoon. Witnesses told police that they saw the suspect get out of a vehicle at that splash pad and open fire. Police believe he shot about 28 rounds, stopping to reload a couple of times. Investigators found a semi-automatic handgun there at the scene and 3 empty magazines as well. Right now, we do not have the identification of the suspect. We don't know their age or the motives behind the shooting.
DJW.
Right now, police believe it is completely random. Like I said, we are standing by waiting for an update from Sheriff Broussard right now.
Yeah, they don't know
anything. When he comes on the podium, we will get right back.
She doesn't know anything. I'm going to go ahead and mute her. I like this guy better.
A large police presence, and then as it was kind of calming down, so to speak. But can you describe, as you were leaving and going to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, how the scene or the environment or the attitude may have changed as far as law enforcement being there, neighbors being there?
I like his better.
Was there more of a sense of relief that you could feel over there?
You could kind of come to that sense. Roughly a few minutes before the sheriff made his way over to his SUV, throughout the evening, we were over there for a number of hours, as you mentioned.
This guy was live on the scene all night.
Actually leave. Those who lived in that mobile home estate actually leave. But as
confirmed the shooter is dead.
To the sheriff
confirmed.
Actually, approaching his vehicle, we saw more. We saw more people coming out. There's a kind of relaxed shoulders among those who were kind of standing guard and forming that perimeter. There was still a scene active, so there's still something that needs to be processed in terms of what actually happened inside wherever he was held up. We don't know if that was a home, if that was possibly a shed or something to that degree. We heard numerous reports from just bystanders on there, giving out their theories on what may be. So hopefully some of that will be confirmed, some of that will be locked down, again, when the sheriff comes to the podium here soon.
And of course, I know we're asking you to kind of pontificate on
this lady, though, I can't.
Very specific details about, but I wonder if as you were leaving, you could see that inner perimeter any better, because we know they had like two perimeters set up. So the one where you are, and then the one that's closer. Of course, you couldn't see the home or wherever this suspected shooter was holed up in what we believe is a mobile home. But did you get a better look at what was going on with that inner perimeter?
No, I think it was kind of a good distance from where we were held, and that perimeter remained even as we were kind of packing up, and most of the people that were there were, a few dozen bystanders that were all standing by watching what was going on, anticipating what may be the outcome here.
Can anybody tell me why they would let the residents wander around outside when the SWAT team is moving in on a guy where they didn't know if he had any weapons inside his house in a trailer park where they're like right on top of one another? That's nuts. Pontificate. She's been like this all night. We were watching this in Discord, and we had movie night tonight. If you want to become a member of our Discord, all you have to do is be a member of the channel or a Patreon member. We did movie night tonight. We watched Pretty Woman, and then we went right into an active shooting because we can't get a break.
Compare everything you saw, heard, witnessed.
Yeah, dozens of law enforcement. I mean, typically what we see when there is a barricade,
you guys need a little volume boost?
Is that very thing. And then, they had various layers of security for bystanders, making sure that they're not interfering with the investigation. So you had an outer perimeter, then you had the perimeter that we were at right outside that mobile home estate park, and then probably inside a third perimeter, and possibly even more. It was hard to tell from our vantage point. Just a matter of keeping everyone safe. What's unique about this situation compared to other ones that you mentioned that we've covered in the past is that we couldn't really get a sense of how far into the mobile home park they were concentrating their efforts. So we were kept at a good distance at bay there, trying to gain whatever we could just from the people that were on the perimeter and speaking with them and some of the bystanders. So that was one key difference I noticed compared to other situations that we've covered over the years.
And while we're staying with this video of Sky Fox, because we're basically holding in position as we await the Sheriff Mike Broussard to take the podium, we can just tell you how this all unfolded.
I know she makes me want to clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. You're looking at live footage, though. This is Sky Fox live over this man's house. Live over his house. We're supposed to have a press conference, but they had some technical difficulties, so they were running behind just a couple of minutes. See, they keep moving this. It's ads. That's why that keeps happening. It keeps shifting my screen. I apologize. So just to give you guys an update, we are waiting for a press conference right now. The suspected shooter is deceased. Here's the sheriff from earlier.
Through so many tragedies, we're not even fully comprehending what happened at Oxford. And, now we have another complete tragedy that we're dealing with.
Hi, Michelle.
Broussard, talking about how this was a gut punch. This was a day that families would typically go to a splash pad in any community, and especially the Rochester Hills community, and a place where you would expect them to feel safe. However, a random suspected shooter, pulls up, gets out of a car, starts shooting 28 times, hits 8 people.
No name yet.
One of those victims was as young as 8 years old. We do know that there may be some of those 8 end critical. We're not sure how many at this point hopefully we do get an update from Sheriff Mike Broussard. But as you're seeing this live as well, we did see people walking around, and that was the first time we had seen that kind of action. We're seeing several cars lined up outside of these mobile homes, but we were also seeing several people walking around. And as you know, this area here will remain a crime.
There comes a vehicle coming in. How wild. I wonder if they evacuated his road. Do you guys think? It's awfully dark there, isn't it? They asked when we were watching it in Discord, they were like, does it look like they cut the power to the place yet? Because I guess that's something they do, is cut the power off. Why wouldn't they just turn the power off for that house instead of the whole park?
Dozens of evidence markers. We saw likely shell casings that were collected as well. We know, as you said, that gunman fired 28 times, reloading multiple times. While we're awaiting Oakland County Sheriff Mike Broussard to give us an update, clearly they're not quite ready yet to tell us about the developments in the case, how they were able to bring this to a close, or how this
they're not
ended
quite ready
exactly.
Yet, for God's
we
sake.
want to turn now to Camila Mary, who's been covering this scene all night. And, you know, this has been a very emotional day for everyone who's involved. Certainly our hearts, thoughts, prayers are with.
You think they cut the power? Hey, Sharon from UK. I know the UK, when people from the UK watch this, they are shook, you guys. They are absolutely shook that we just sit here and watch these happen over and over and over. What's going on?
Okay. I don't think that we have it. I thought that it was in-house. I can just kind of talk about what he told me. He said that he was actually just hanging out outside, and someone drove by and said, hey, there was a mass shooting at the splash pad. So he jumped into action. He actually has a first aid kit, and he drove over here and just started rendering first aid, actually making tourniquets, putting pressure on wounds. He said he saw several people shot, a lot of blood, and he just worked as fast and quickly as he could. He said it was very disturbing, but he says that he just wanted to do as much as he could until the EMTs got here, and that's exactly what he did. And then when they came, he of course let them take over because they were the professionals. But he said this is something that he will never, ever get out of his mind. He says he knows some of the victims, and he said that it was like nothing he'd ever seen in his entire life, and hopes, of course, that he never sees something like that again. I think that we'll hopefully have that sound in a little bit, but I'm going to send it back to you right now in the studio.
I wonder if at this juncture, as we're waiting for the Oakland County Sheriff.
She's really reaching to keep this commentary going, poor thing. Let's see, who else do we have in here from Michigan? See, I keep getting these ads. This is going to irritate me now. I keep getting different size ads, so it keeps screwing it up. Mount Clemens, you're in North Carolina now. Welcome in, Ann. We are waiting for the presser to begin. It was supposed to start 17 minutes ago, but they had technical difficulties. Those guys had one job. Oh, now they're pushing it back to her. She's like, why are you pushing it back to me? She's like...
And I mean, that's the $1 million question that Hillary asked. You know, who does this? Why? Why does someone drive up? I mean, it's June. It's almost the first day of summer, and it was a beautiful day today. It was a Saturday. Kids are out of school now. I mean, they're enjoying the beginning of their summer vacation. Why would someone do something like this? What is going through their head? We do have that that portion of that interview with that witness, and I want you to listen because it's a lot more powerful when it comes from his mouth rather than mine.
She's going to push it. Oh, okay.
A woman came driving by her house and said that there was an active shooter at the splash pad. First, I didn't believe her, but then when she tore off as fast as she did, and then the next person came through,
then?
I came up here and I sat back and listened. I didn't hear any more gunshots, so then I grabbed my medical kit out of my car and came up and tried to help people.
Oh, Makita, I hope you feel better.
No, it's important to point out that he is not a medical professional, but he says that he just knows. He knows to jump into action if something like this happens, and he's prepared. He had a medical first aid kit in his car and just rushed over here. Definitely a hero. Jarrett is a hero because he may have saved some lives. I mean, he was first on the scene.
Hey, Donna from Grand Rapids. You know, do you guys remember people on the west side? You would remember for sure Dalton, the Uber driver that went on the shooting spree in Kalamazoo. Oh, here we go.
We had to have a couple more minutes to get some information that I'm sure y'all are going to want to have. So we'll back up, but rather chaotic day, obviously. So the call came in, as I mentioned in my short brief, out on the street at 17:11, which is 11 minutes after 5, about an active shooter, shots fired. We have deployed a relatively new technology called Live 911. One of our sergeants in the Rochester Hills substation was monitoring Live 911. That allows us to hear the actual call come into dispatch before it's even put out over the radio. So he heard that call come in and immediately self-deployed to the splash pad and was on scene in less than 2 minutes prior to 17:13, which would have been 13 minutes after 5. The suspect had already fled the scene upon that arrival, but obviously there were multiple victims wounded on scene. Our deputies began providing emergency first aid, including tourniquets. The victims, we originally thought there were 9. One had been double reported at one of the hospitals. So at this point, unless someone went to a hospital and brought themselves to a hospital, which more than one did, we're aware of, at this point, 8, unless someone else took themselves to a different hospital and we're not aware of them. But the 8 ones that we have is an 8-year-old boy who has a gunshot wound to the head. He's in critical condition. We have a 4-year-old with a boy with a wound to the thigh. He's stable. A 39-year-old woman with wounds to the abdomen and leg. She's in critical. That's all from one family. We have a 39-year-old white female. She has wounds to the back and arm. She's considered stable. A 30-year-old female with wounds to the thigh and buttocks. She's considered stable. A 30-year-old male with a right leg wound, considered stable. A 78-year-old male with an abdominal wound, considered stable. A 37-year-old female with a hand wound, considered stable. A 40-year-old male with a right knee wound, considered stable as well. So first, I'd like to thank the community for responding. A lot of people have reached out and are very supportive, obviously. I, in my worst nightmare, couldn't imagine standing up here again talking about another active shooter. This agency has responded to multiple active shooters, multiple mass casualties. Oxford, we went to MSU and down Rochester Hills. And in between, we've responded to active shooters. So unfortunately, this has become all too common in America, but especially too common in our community. And I am very, very proud of our people, again, in very difficult circumstances. And not only because of their quick response, their triaging of the situation, but the individual deputies got on scene very quickly and began to look at evidentiary things on scene. And by some of the things they saw, they did some intelligence work and came up with a possible address. Cars were deployed to that address, and a vehicle matching the description of the car that drove away from the scene. We didn't have a license plate. We had a description.
Did he, Mrs. Kirby?
Was seen in that driveway. And we're still working on the timelines because we still had radio traffic that was only emergency only. But we believe within 45 minutes to an hour, we had containment on a home, which ultimately had the suspect inside. Contact was made. There was some, I wouldn't call it communication, but at least an acknowledgement that the person was in that home, and we had that person contained. We set a hard perimeter on it. We brought in assets, including our SWAT, our helicopter, our drones, and tried to make contact with the person, tried to bring that person out peacefully, and to no avail, had no contact back. After a period of time, we breached the home and deployed drones to begin an examination of the home to make a determination if it was still a hostile actor, and we located the individual deceased in the home. The reason that quick containment is critically important, in my opinion, and why potentially more lives were saved is we don't know what the next chapter was going to be. And when the drone flew into the home, this was on the kitchen table. So he didn't have just a handgun on that particular endeavor. He had obviously what looks to be an AR platform is still being processed, so I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I would say it's a semi-automatic .223, but I don't know for a fact until that scene's processed. But what I do know is that individual was in that house with that weapon, and I'm not sure how many other weapons were in that house. Again, it's still an active scene being processed. But I believe that because we had quick containment on him, that if he had planned to do anything else, and it wouldn't surprise me, because having that on the kitchen table is not an everyday activity, that there was probably something else, a second chapter, potentially. Obviously, we'll be looking for any evidence or manifesto or anything that would give us an inclination of what may be driving this individual prior to this terrible moment. We have no contact on record with him, either at that home by Shelby Township or in any criminal history that we're aware of. So it's going to be one of those challenges to try to figure out why there appears to be no connection between the victims and the location whatsoever. The person doesn't live in Rochester Hills. He went to a Rochester Hills park. So it may be very much like Michigan State University, where the person had no connection to Michigan State, but just decided to go there to find victims. So that's where we are. Very active scene. Obviously, most of the information I'm giving you, that's our best at this moment, but it's still obviously very much in flux as we continue to investigate this situation.
I'm not sure I understand.
My watch doesn't understand even.
Oh my!
So,
oh my God! Are you kidding me?
Again, I'm very proud of our team. The way they worked quickly, the way they deployed, the way they gained containment, and we made entry very quickly to ascertain if it was going to be an ongoing situation, and to have conclusion at least tonight. Our most fervent hope at this point is that all of the injured victims have speedy recoveries. None of us in this room, in this community, or in this country anticipated, going into Father's Day weekend with this kind of tragedy that families will be deeply affected by forever. And so we're going to do all we can to support them. I know the County Executive's Office has stood up in conjunction with Rochester Hills counseling that will be available at the Public Service Office tomorrow from 8 to 10 to 4. 10 to 4 tomorrow. If anybody needs counseling, no appointments necessary. You'll be able to go there, talk to people. We're here. We're supportive. Anything you need. And I hate to say it, but we still have All for Oxford Resiliency Center in place. If people need someone to talk to or need support, it'll be available there as well. before I get to two other folks, there were their questions about the law enforcement stuff.
What else can you tell us about the suspect? Age, or did he live alone? Anything like that?
At this point, as I said, we don't have any contact or criminal information on him. He is a white male, 42 years old, believed to have lived with his mom. She was not home. She has been notified. It's our understanding that apparently he was undergoing some mental health challenges, but known that we're aware of was notified. Yes.
You mentioned that quick look at the scene led them to the home and helped with that quick containment. What were those investigative tactics used?
There was some evidence related to the firearm and some other things that they did some quick research and data examination on, and that the weapon, yes.
Hey, Gustave.
And it gave us a potential address, and they immediately deployed there.
So just to be clear, one weapon found on scene and one found in this home?
So far, yes. One weapon so far found in the home, that platform rifle on the table. There is some report and information that he potentially had 2 handguns on scene. We haven't confirmed that, and obviously the witnesses are going through both medical and trauma at the moment, but that we had one person say that they thought there were 2 handguns on scene.
Sheriff, what is next for you in terms of investigation, and do you fear that you may also not be able to solve the why in this?
That's a really good question. In terms of the why, I don't know if he wrote anything, or we'll be able to gain some insight into that without him. That's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to put together what he did, timeline leading up to and after, and try to do those things. The why, if we can't find something committed, like in the Oxford situation, our computer crimes was able to access digital records and devices, and we got, basically the shooter in that case saying what he wanted to do and why. It's hard to say if we're going to be able to do the same thing in this case, even if there was a record. But certainly that's going to be one of the first things that we go after, is to determine if there's either a digital or a paper
Brian, I'm
trail
getting better
that would
at
give
this
us some
stuff.
insight.
As far as where he used to live, do you have a record of where he was before living in Shelby Township?
All I know is this address. Obviously, that's going to be a part of the workup. We haven't really had much time to do a complete workup on him. But at this point, we're not aware of any
What's his name?
police
I'll do it.
contact or any prior criminal history.
What's his name? I'll do
Sure.
it.
We also talked to a witness who was there shortly after this happened and came to the scene to try to help out.
Hi, Gina.
He seemed quite shaken. You also seemed quite shaken by this. What's your reaction? How are you processing this right now?
Well, it's hard to process. I can tell you that our whole agency has been buffeted about with a lot of challenges, from a line of duty death and COVID, and then Oxford, and then responding to MSU. And, during the Oxford wakes, we had to leave some of those services to go to an active shooter in Orion at a medical building. So, our folks, I'm so proud of them because they suit up and they go back at it. Some of the same faces that were at Oxford I saw in Orion at that active scene. And a lot of the faces I saw tonight were at both of those and MSU. And so, it's a constant challenge. And we try to do everything we can with our peer-to-peer program and our support programs for our people, because it affects them. There are some people in our agency that still have not been able to come back to work after Oxford. So it's tough to process it because we feel deeply for our victims.
Sheriff, how crowded was the splash pad, and how many shots do we know how many were fired?
Well, we know, as I said, have already counted 28 casings. They're still processing the scene right now. We're looking for bullet fragments. I actually found one in the road at a distance from the site. So they're still canvassing the scene actively right now. We know that at least 28 shots were fired there, but it's still active.
Was it crowded at the time? It was a nice day today.
Yeah, it was fairly crowded. Obviously, I just ran you through that list, and that was just people that were hit. We've already been able to recover some video evidence from a nearby camera. It's not great zoom-in quality, but it kind of gives some of the totality of the event.
All the victims, were they in the same general area, or were they spread throughout the splash pad?
It's not a huge area, and they were all kind of in the same area.
Do you know how the suspect was deceased? What the means was?
That obviously will be up to the medical examiner, but just from my impressions, what I saw on scene, it appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound by a handgun. So that could have been the second handgun that was seen on scene.
So there were at least 2 guns in the house then?
There was a handgun next to the decedent and that rifle on the kitchen table. I don't, again, know if there's more. We haven't processed the home.
Did any officers or deputies hear that gunshot, or do we believe that happened before their arrival?
No, it didn't happen before their arrival because there was some, I wouldn't call it back and forth communication, but at least an acknowledgement that we were there and we heard or saw him. But that's how we knew we had him in the building.
Okay, so he did take his own life while you were on scene outside during the standoff?
Yes.
Oh, did the shooter get out of the vehicle at the splash pad? Or
yes.
You mentioned 3 of the 8 injured were all one family. Was it a mom and 2 kids that were there?
Yes.
It is.
And 2 of the other victims were husband and wife.
Oh my God.
Can you talk more about that live 911 system? It seems like that made a big difference here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a piece of technology that I was super excited to get and kind of inculcate into our policing capabilities, and also, married up with another technology that we've begun to use called DFR, Drones as First Responders. So with a drone, we can have an operator actually geofence the 911 call and hear a call before it gets dispatched and launch a drone to get actual what's going on, sometimes even before a car gets there, 20% of the time. And then people in that district can actually hear the call to the 911 center before it goes out over the radio. So it can markedly improve response times in an emergency, which is what it did here.
Is it protocol, or will it be for deputies to hear and respond before being dispatched?
If they hear something that they think they can make a difference, absolutely they're authorized to do that.
Go,
the
Jackie.
one kind of balancing act we have is we don't want sensory overload on them trying to listen to radio, trying to listen to the phone calls, trying to drive. So we're trying to balance that, but we have that option available. It was utilized tonight to great effect, in my opinion.
Do you know how many tourniquets your deputies have been using?
I don't know how many tourniquets were deployed tonight. I saw one for sure. We'd have to, that's obviously a chaotic moment. We'll have to figure that out. Yeah.
Where did they say the shooter lived?
Had the chance to go through any of the shooter's social media and see if there was any motive listed there. I know you had mentioned the previous time where that was the case.
Yeah, no, we haven't gone on social media. A lot of the stuff we recovered in previous cases has been digital evidence on devices, computers, cell phones, etc., not necessarily publicly facing, publicly posted. Whether or not he posted anything on social media or has anything on devices will be part of the ongoing investigation.
A question for the mayor, if I may.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, obviously a very difficult night for your community, usually a quiet community.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, and how are the folks doing that you've had a chance to talk to so far?
I love my community, and my heart breaks today. When I got on scene, and I want to echo the comments of the sheriff, we are fortunate to have the protection of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office and the hard work of the Rochester Hills Fire Department. When I got on scene, I started to cry because I know what a splash pad is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place where people gather, where families make memories, where people have fun and enjoy a Saturday afternoon, and it wasn't today. And as you heard, the victims, families, husbands and wives, what normally happens in our city didn't happen today. I've been mayor for 18 years, and I've often texted and supported my colleagues across the country who've gone through this in Orlando and Las Vegas and Pittsburgh, El Paso and Dayton. Never really thinking that it could happen in my community, and today it did. And it's a mental reset. It's a reminder that we live in a fragile place with fragile people, and it's also a reminder to be grateful for professionals. There were 100 firefighters and sheriff's deputies out there today, members of our Department of Public Services, our parks team. I'm grateful for them. They run towards, if you can imagine, a whole team when children are involved, and did what they do best, you know. And our focus now is, I said earlier, singular. We are fully focused on supporting those families. One of the families that was injured is an employee of the city of Rochester Hills' family, a wife. I spoke to him tonight. We are singularly focused on supporting those families and helping our community begin to heal. That neighborhood, the Brooklands, is the oldest neighborhood in the city of Rochester Hills. It was founded in the 1920s. And there's a lot of pride in that neighborhood. There's a lot of folks that have lived there 50, 60 years. It's a close-knit community, and we're going to do everything we can to help them heal, provide the resources, and begin to get our community back on its feet again.
Can you talk more about the services that you're going to have tomorrow at DPS?
The county has been wonderful. They're sending over some support for residents that have been impacted in the community. Our own internal team has its own internal support system of folks that will come and stand alongside both our first responders and those that need support. We have a protocol in place for this. Unfortunately, it does happen when there are instances that happen in a city like ours, but you know, it is important if you feel like you need to talk to someone, you do. Obviously, I imagine that mental health will be a discussion that will follow this story for some time, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support those folks that have seen some very challenging things and get them the help that they need.
I guess for the sheriff, a timeline investigation timeline on the splash pad itself. How long do you think you'll be there, and Mr. Mayor, do you anticipate reopening that?
We'll be there until it's done. You know, they're obviously doing a lot of work, and some of our partners have showed up and offered their assistance. The ATF actually brought a dog that can look for fragments, bullet fragments. So they actually have the dog out trying to find, you know, I actually found a bullet fragment in the road at some distance, so their dog is searching the scene so that we can fully document where every round ended up, if at all possible, and completely document that scene as part of the total investigation. And then as soon as we're done processing that, that'll be turned back to the city for whatever steps they're going to, you know, do.
Best guess, 48 hours, 72 hours, what do you think?
I would say probably sometime tomorrow. You know, they're gonna stay there and do it until they're done.
Can you confirm, was it 8 or 9 victims?
Originally, we had a count of 9, but apparently one of the hospitals had reported one of the victims twice. So at this point, we are confirming 8. We know for sure with injuries, and we're still trying to ascertain if anyone else self-transported somewhere else and we're not aware of it. But at this point, we have fanned out 2 area hospitals and have both our support team for those that are impacted and traumatized by this, and detectives to do the criminal investigation component. So both of those are at all the area hospitals. We've confirmed those 8 and the status of injuries that I told you.
You were taking notes of when you went down the list, and you had 9 information for 9 people, so would it be okay to go over the list again, or I can do it with you separately if you don't want that?
Then it is 9 again.
Okay.
Because that's why I was late coming in. They gave me the actual rundown of the ages and the injuries. At one point it was 9, and then it was back to 8, and so I guess now that I've been given the formal list, we're back to 9 again. That's what I'm saying. It's always a little bit chaotic and a bit of a flux in the early hours.
Congressman?
been a late, tough night for a lot of people. Most of all, the families who are struggling with loved ones who are in harm's way right now. We pray for the doctors and medical professionals who are tending to the victims, and we also want to thank and praise the good Lord for our first responders that mitigated an even worse event. Doing everything we can. It's very important for us to be here for the people to see that we're working at every level of government to make sure that our communities stay safe and stay whole. Under no circumstances is it normal for ice cream cones and flip-flops to be strewn amongst blood and bullet casings. I'm a combat veteran myself. I've seen this, and so if those of you who have not taken the opportunity to avail yourself of mental health services, please avail yourself of the services in the area tomorrow. And if you are listening and remote and you're experiencing a suicide or mental health crisis, please do not wait. Seek help. 988. Again, 988 is where you can seek help for yourself or a loved one who's currently experiencing a mental health crisis. We all have a role in keeping our community safer. And so as we roll into this Father's Day, please continue to keep the victims and those who are tending to them in your prayers. God bless you. Good night.
You know, one other thing I wanted to mention, excuse me, that last week I actually spoke at the North American Active Assailant Conference that was held right here in Oakland County. 1,200 people attended. So we're constantly learning from each other how we can be quicker, how we can hopefully prevent, if we can't prevent, how we respond and mitigate. Certainly I didn't expect to be back at this within a week. But I will tell you, because of those kinds of events, those training, those partnerships, Shelby Township, Troy, our neighboring partnering agencies immediately jumped in. I can't thank Shelby Township, Troy, and the other agencies enough, the fire department, ATF. We had calls from the DEA, the FBI. I had texts from Chief White in Detroit. I had texts from multiple chiefs, other sheriffs. We operate as a team when something happens like this because that's how we've trained and prepared. And that's unique. You know, as many of you know, I'm head of government affairs for Major County Sheriffs of America, and I get to see where things work well and where they don't work quite so well. And a lot of communities in this country don't have that hand-in-glove partnership with every agency that we have, and I'd like to thank all of them tonight.
Sheriff, just to clarify, both those two handguns and the gun were immediately registered to the suspect?
The registrations on the gun in the home and that rifle have not been determined yet. Okay. The one weapon on scene led us to the address. It was registered to that address, which is why we got so quickly to the home.
Was it registered to the suspect or the mother?
That I'd have to run down. I believe it was the suspect, but it came back with that address. And as I said, the car that matched the description was in the driveway, and that put down the containment.
And the suspect had known mental health issues?
Not known to us or any other law enforcement agency that I'm aware of, but apparently to family.
This is a question for either of you.
Apparently to family. What family?
Obviously tomorrow is Father's Day, and it's Father's Day in 15 minutes, and people want to be out and enjoying themselves, but this obviously will be a thought in their minds. What's your take on that? What's your advice for those who still want to go about their daily lives where this is obviously in the forefront?
Live your life. You can't live life in fear. You have to go out and live your life and know that should anything challenge you, threaten you, or concern you, we're here. And we're coming. And not just one or two of us, we're all coming. I remember distinctly one of our deputies had one of their children in Oxford High School and had texted her dad and was talking about the tragedy as it was playing out. And he said, basically the question was, who's coming? And the answer was, everybody. So go live your life. The statistical chance of this happening to you is low. Doesn't minimize the impact on the whole community or the individuals at all. But everything has to be taken kind of in context. So go live your life. Don't live it in fear. Be situationally aware. Obviously, we preach that all the time, so that have a plan when you get to situations. What would I do? Not just for an active threat, active assailant, active shooter, whatever the case may be. What if it's a fire? If you're in a theater, whether it's a fire, a tornado, an active threat, where are my exits? I know where I came in, where are the other ones? Situational awareness, wherever you are, is a good methodology to feeling more comfortable. It's like buying homeowners insurance. No one expects their house to burn down. They shop it, they compare it, they buy it, and they put it in a file drawer. Then they move on with their life. They don't fret that their house is going to burn down. They do things,
to prevent it.
To prevent it, if at all possible, but they don't quit living their life or enjoying their house. And that's what I would tell the people. Please, go out. But, as the congressman said, these tragedies are a terrible, terrible reminder to us. Don't take any day for granted. If you still have your dad, which I don't, be thankful. Spend the day with your dad.
Amen.
And go do something fun. And tell each other you love each other. Because there's no guarantee for any of us that there's going to be a tomorrow.
It's a good message for Father's Day.
Ma'am.
I did have one more question actually about that video that you said that you were able to pull at the after scene. Is there any way you could describe for us what that video looked like and what you all discerned from it?
It looked chaotic. You could see people kind of just enjoying the day, and then it was a scramble. People were falling, getting hit, trying to run.
Hey, Cricket.
The terrible things that unfortunately all of us in our law enforcement business have seen way too much.
Were you able to determine how far the shooter was from the victims? Did he stay close to the car, or did he come into the splash pad?
Still a work in progress. I haven't seen some of the video myself, but it appears, based on the evidence that I saw on scene,
Same here.
that he started firing once he was out of his car from the base of the steps, climbing the steps, reloading, and then was firing from the top of the steps in the splash pad area before he left, and appeared to leave in no rush. Just calmly walked back to his car.
This guy just left a crime scene. Give him a break.
Bizarre situation.
Exactly, Kendo.
Thank you.
This guy just left a
Right, you have
massive
been listening
shooting.
to Oakland County Sheriff Mike Broussard giving a live update about the absolute tragedy. The sheriff saying there, tell each other you love each other.
Okay, I can't listen to her anymore. Yeah, I mean, he's been through a lot. Let's go easy on the dude in his hair. I don't know how my hair would look. Shit, I don't even want to show you guys what I look like right now, let alone after I've been to a crime scene. But here we go. We've got, I'll break it down for you guys. We've got 9 people shot. We have a mother, her 4-year-old, her 8-year-old. The 8-year-old shot in the head in critical. We have the suspect offed himself while the house was surrounded. And we have no name. But the suspect is 42 years old from Shelby Township and lived with Mama and had all these guns. Let's listen what Cutie Patooties got to say.
Rifle that was found on the kitchen table. Obviously, the suspect, when they were able to track him through use of witnesses and other means to find a vehicle description, then track it a mile away to a home at the DeQuinder Estates, they found that vehicle parked in a driveway. They made contact with that person. They seemingly thought that he was responding, but ultimately got no response, so they sent in drones. Those drones flew in, determined that the person had taken his own life, a self-inflicted gunshot wound, this 42-year-old male. Then they saw that image on the kitchen table of that rifle there. And the sheriff said it himself. He's like, it's more than likely that he had other plans. No one knows yet what drove him to that splash pad a mile from his home. He had no priors. He had no criminal history to speak of, at least here in Oakland County. And from their preliminary indications, he bought the gun. It was registered to him. For some reason, he today decided to go down to that splash pad a mile from his home, park his car, get out, fire 28 bullets. That's how many they found as of last count, hitting those 9 people, as you mentioned, most of them in their 30s, but one family, including a boy who was struck in the head, is in critical condition. His mom and another child of hers also injured, and then calmly got back into his car and drove away. So obviously a lot here that needs to be answered, and possibly that may never be answered.
He'd love to have bangs like
community
that.
that needs to begin the healing process now, and we're still just hours away from unpacking what exactly happened. So that's going to take some time. I know that they mentioned that there's many different resources here available in Oakland County for those who are going through any sort of crisis and need some counseling. They urge people to take advantage of those, and they did indicate that possibly this 42-year-old suspect did have some mental health issues. That is going to come out in the days to come as this investigation, again, just in its early stages. Hillary?
Dave, we're going to all be praying here tonight.
Yeah, it was a very dark day for Rochester Hills, a very dark day for really Metro Detroit and all of Michigan. And this Father's Day weekend, and I think Sheriff Mike Broussard put it best: if your father is here, give him a hug, tell him you love him. That goes with all family members too, going through this situation, because, you know, and you said this earlier, when something happens to someone in one of our communities.
Yeah, so I don't know when we're going to get a name. I was just scouring X, and I don't see any names. And I was trying to find something on the name that went through chat earlier, and I couldn't find anything on him. But just to update you guys, we had an active shooter here. We'll see what.
Died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And the initial reports are that the suspected gunman lived at that home with a family member. Of course, we're going to, in about 9 minutes from now, get an update from Oakland County Sheriff Mike Broussard at a news conference.
So that's a replay. So the update is we have an active shooter. We had a man, a 42-year-old man in Rochester Hills, Michigan, get in his vehicle, drive to a splash pad, which, if you don't know what a splash pad is, it's where little kids play. Let me see if I can get a picture of the splash pad while we're talking. But little kids play at the splash pad. It's free. It's like a little community thing. Families go there. So we had a mother and her 2 children shot. Her 8-year-old was shot in the head, is in critical condition. So here is a picture. There's some pictures there. Oh, who's this guy? Hold on, let's watch this video really quick.
What do we got?
Code 94, circuit.
Bear with me. I've got to. Every screen is going to be different, so bear with me for a second, guys. It's just an ad. But this looks like it was some kind of a witness who was there or something.
It's right.
I got the Norton thing again. Why do I keep getting that? Oh my God. You kidding me? Oh, here's the list of victims. I cannot play that channel for some reason. So we have an 8-year-old boy in critical, a 4-year-old boy in stable, a 39-year-old woman in stable, a 30-year-old woman in stable, a 78-year-old man in stable. That must be the grandpa. There were reports that a grandpa was shot in the stomach several times. A 37-year-old woman in stable and a 40-year-old man in stable. Some of the victims were part of the same family. But they're saying this was random. No particular target. See if I can get this.
Whatever your business needs, Vistaprint.
Let's see if we can get this one to work. I know it's horrible. If you're from Michigan and you're in the chat, put a 1 in chat.
Vistaprint.com.
Waited all that for just that video.
Hershey's milk chocolate.
Let's try this one again. Welcome in, Brian and Jill, Christy Lee, Northern Beans. Good to see you guys.
To follow breaking news tonight, we've been in Rochester where a mass shooting at a splash pad happened earlier this afternoon. It injured at least 9 people. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Whitney Burney. That shooting happened around 5:11 p.m. at the Brooklands Plaza splash pad. This is on Auburn, west of DeQuinder. We do have team coverage beginning with 7 News Detroit reporter Tiara Braddock, who's been at the scene all afternoon. Tiara, what can you tell us at this hour?
Well, Whitney, this is just a sad situation unfolding out here in Rochester Hills. Between 9 to 10 people shot at the splash pad right behind me. It's right here on East Auburn Road in Rochester Hills. We are told at least one of the victims is a child believed to be only 8 years old, and police are still working to bring in the suspected shooter. Now, my colleague Brittany Toulis will have more on that shortly. The shooting happened at around 5 this afternoon. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Broussard believes the suspect fired at least 28 times in the area of the splash pad.
Hey, Aurora.
Broussard said they recovered a handgun and 3 empty magazines. Police believe this was a random shooting. They are still investigating why someone would do this. Again, around 9 to 10 people shot. I want you to hear from the sheriff himself as he talks about this tragedy, and also hear from a man who lives not too far from the scene. He told me he can't believe something like this happened in his community.
It's a gut punch, obviously, for us here in Oakland County. We've gone through so many tragedies. You know, we're not even fully comprehending what happened at Oxford. And, you know, now we have another complete tragedy.
I had my own son here last year, and you know, I was supposed to have him this weekend, and I was going to bring him up here to the same place. It was actually supposed to be today, but he's back at home with his mom.
Thank
God. I thank God that I didn't. You know, I could be at the hospital with my son right now.
Shocking.
And as far as an update on the victim's condition, Sheriff Broussard says that they are still working to learn that with so many victims, it can be hard to track down everyone's condition. But he did tell us that they believe that one of the victims had a surgery and it went well, so that's good news. But we're still working to learn about the other victims. But for now, reporting live in Rochester Hills, Tiara Braddock, 7 News Detroit.
Tiara, thank you so much. We are all hoping that those victims will be recovering soon. Our team coverage continues now.
Oakland County deputies. It's blocked off up at
even for people.
Everyone has to be careful, but this community is strong and overbound.
Mayor Barnett, thank you so much for your time this evening.
He was a responder to the Oxford school shooting as well. That man right there. But what I want to share with you now is this actual splash pad. Let's take a look at this and see exactly where it is. because I've never personally seen this place. The splash pad itself, I don't know. Let me fix this window, and then we're going to look at where this place is located. And now is a good time to go smash that like button. If you already have, I thank you. Okay, so here is what a splash pad, this splash pad in particular, looks like. It's small. I mean, it's literally this area, and then that mound of grass is in the middle of it. And look at the roads right there. And we saw the little chairs with all the evidence markers around them. Literally little kids. This was taken 3 weeks ago. Three weeks ago. Here's the parking lot. Rochester Hills. It's owned by the Rochester Hills community. Brooklands Plaza, splash pad, 10 to 8. I mean, look at this. Literal young moms with young children. Is this dude like someone who was never married and was mad that he couldn't get a girl or something? You know what I mean? Like he's mad he doesn't have a family. There's the splash pad in the winter. And that's it. That's how big it is, you guys. Why would he choose to drive up there and shoot this place up? What's going on? And look at that. Oh my God, you guys. See that little girl? I wonder if there were kids on that mound. Because see how it sits up higher? Is that what he aimed for? Were there kids all over this mound? You know what I'm saying? Running up and down it playing? Oh, for Christ's sake. I can't even imagine. Because see, they're on that hill. God awful. Can you imagine this? This scene? Oh my gosh, tits. That's so scary. And that's what it looked like today. That's what it looked like today. Right, sitting ducks. They're more worried about, the parents are sitting in those little chairs, grandparents sitting in those little chairs. Kids are running around, running up on the hill, running through the water. No one is paying attention to anything around them. I can't either. I mean, there's all those little chairs. What is wrong with, I mean, what the hell? Why? Why? Oh, really? Do you really, Kels? That's awesome. I did not know that about you. That's cool. Here it is. So this is what it looks like around there. We're going to go in a circle. Look, that says live happily together right there. It says live happily together right on the road. Where's those steps that they were showing? Oh, wow, that was before. See, that's what it looked like before the splash pad in the park. This is how I remember it there. Wow. That's crazy. Now look at it. All right, hold on. I gotta go. That wasn't Google. That was just their site. People are already leaving reviews. Oh my God. Look at this. Do not bring your, oh, you can't see it. Hold on. Do not bring your kids here. Mass shooting. Unsafe. Sad about shooting right before the splash pad would be needed. No one will go there after what happened. Why do people, this is what people do after they hear about this? Hey, Bubba. Welcome in. Welcome in. We had a 42-year-old man who lived at home with mom drive up randomly to a splash pad in Michigan and shoot 28 times on a bunch of kids and families. People are twisted, aren't they? It says temporarily closed. But this is called Brooklyn Plaza. I'll show you a little bit more. Oh my God. Look at the splash pad was closed. Look at from June 10th through the 13th. It just opened back up 3 days ago. What a prick. Whoever did this, that guy's a prick. Splash pad hours 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. To operate water features, press the activation arrow button. So it's like there may not even be someone there. Evening lights for gathering. They even had string lights out there, and you could go in the evening till 8 p.m. How cool was that? I know, Kels. It's terrible. Hi, Jenny. Not a whole lot on here, actually. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. They didn't even say how many people were there, did they? I don't think they even told us how many people were at the splash pad. There's an aerial view. I put that address in of that Jacob Ashley, and it takes me to that trailer park where the guy was dead. So that must have been his house. But I can't find anything on any Jacob Ashley. But let me do something really quick. Let me get rid of some of these windows. All right, let me look something up. Let me see if I can find out anything on Jacob Ashley. Give me a second, guys. Let me get out my handy dandy notebook. I'm just curious if this guy ever moved out of his mom's house or if he always lived with her and was like a loner, like loser. Excuse me. They said he was 42, correct? They said his mother was not at home, but she was notified. No, this guy's 25. I can't find anything on that name. No, she was notified. They spoke with her. Oh, that is weird, Amber. That's got to be a little creepy. Yeah, I can't find anything with that name and that age at all. Let me pull up this place on a map because I can't find anything on him. Let me put 1-5. Let me put this in Google because I want to see where those stairs were that they were showing. Ooh, that took us back in time to 2018. Oh, damn. 2008? That's so weird. It trips me out how we can do this. Why is it only giving me that, though? Hold on. Okay, there it is. Now we can actually zoom in. But look how cute it... I mean, nobody's going to use this. This is going to close down. I mean, they're going to close it down, don't you think? But yeah, total sitting ducks. Look at right on the road. I'm just trying to figure out where he came from. And where those steps are. See, it keeps taking me. Now I'm back in 2018 again. Make it make sense. It depends on where you go. It's so weird. So I can't go over there and see the back of that place. Where in the heck are those steps? Over here. Over here. So did he actually pull in? That's the steps right there. He came from the parking lot, didn't he? The hell, man. Shit. Look at it. It's already grayed out. Look at it. Keeps popping me back in different years. Stop it. Okay, here's a view of the parking lot. So he actually pulled in. So he would have had to have turned down this road here, pulled in, went into this parking lot, drove all the way up over here, parked, got out, literally shot this way at this like patio area and the steps, got in his car and pulled out and went home. I mean, fucking brain freeze right across the street. What the fuck is wrong with people, man? This is terrifying. Why did he pick this spot? And what are these stupid things they've put in the sidewalk? And what is this thing? This arch. Oh, scanner. I didn't even think of that. Which one are you listening to? Y'all caught me. I'm not tired right now. Which one are y'all listening to? He said he walked calmly back to his car. I didn't catch that. That's nuts. Did he know someone who worked there? They said there was no connections. It's what they say anyways. Weird, huh? Are you listening to Oakland County Sheriff or? It's modern art. Yeah, but they waste so much money on that. The rings are a bike rack. It's so stupid. You know, that's when they try to dress up an area that's getting shoddy. I'm just saying. That area, even though it looks like it's gotten better over the years, I'm not going to lie, it's gotten shoddier. It probably is that full pot of coffee. They said he offed himself. I'm sure they would love to take credit for it. There's not very many listeners. That's Rochester City. There's so many Oakland County. You don't think they have active employees there? Oh, here it is. I found it. All right, I'm going to start the scanner. Let's see if there's anything going on. We probably have to listen to an ad. I need to get my Broadcastify subscription back. Because with a subscription, I can go back and I can actually download old, like go back in time. You know, like for example, in the Sebastian case, you could go back and download that scanner audio. Good night, Flobo. Yeah, it does, Kels. It does. It's amazing what some landscaping and a splash pad can do. Okay, we've got some scanner action.
Dispatch rescue one responding.
Affirmative. To be rescue one, show your route. Rescue one, be advised is coming in as a Charlie response due to abnormal breathing.
Yeah, there ain't nothing. Abnormal breathing. I don't think anything's going to be on the scanner at this point. Do you guys? No employees needed. Play at your own risk. Thank you, Dog Defender. Says thumbs up. Have you given a thumbs up? Maybe on Saturdays when it's busy, they might get some food trucks or something. But this mofo actually, let's see the route to his house from here.
Copy. Squad 1, respond for a medical at IGA 24712 Madison Court, Section 2003, Apartment 291. PD is responding for domestic, where the female believes her thumb is broken. They're still en route. You can stage at 023.
Good Lord.
Agent turn out.
Rescue for an engine 2 issue goes en route 5574 Pleasant Drive. For male in his 50s complaining of difficulty breathing. Our caller is not on scene and your patient does not speak English.
All right, I turned that off. I don't think there's going to be anything on the scanner. But literally a 4-minute drive. A 4-minute drive. Down at the bottom is the splash pad here. And then he drove, well, I mean, if he took that route up to here. Yeah, I put his address in, and it just took me to that trailer park. I know, the baby blue Infinity? She's driving around looking for him in a baby blue Infinity? It's just crazy to me. And just drove home. Just drove home. Down Auburn Road. It's so bizarre. So my question is, did mom know he had, I need to know all about this. No, he didn't shoot her. They talked to her. They contacted her. She's fine. Oh, you mean if I didn't see her first one crimes, if she was home, yeah. Okay, well, this is just like, hey, it's Saturday. If you guys are good this morning, this afternoon, we'll go down to the splash pad. Right? And then you take your kids to the splash pad for a little bit, and then you go home. It's just like going to the park. Except in Michigan, it's finally nice out. We finally get to go and play in the water. Right? That's the area right over there. Sickening. I don't know. I don't know. He had an AK on the table. Yeah, I don't know, because this is a free thing. I mean, anybody goes to this. And this isn't exactly a wealthy area. I mean, it's a decent area, but it's older neighborhoods. This isn't like a buildup of, here, let's go down the road here. These are older homes. They're nice. It's a well-kept area, but it's an older area. So I wouldn't say it's a monetary thing or anything like that. It's very modest. Now, if you go to Rochester, it is different than Rochester Hills. It's more uppity. But this is just, it's changed, but it's still a pretty modest area. So I don't understand what he would do. Scout, can I ask a totally off-topic question? Whatever happened with Julia? I haven't seen her on your podcast. She's doing her thing, and she's doing it quietly. That's all I know.
You don't hold account.
You think it's because people were having fun? But the question is, did he come here from his house, or was he somewhere else before that? Yeah, I think it's pretty common, Lisa Reed. It seems like it's pretty common these days to have a splash pad. They didn't have them when my kids were little, but it is sickening to hear Kiwi. That's really scary. So yeah, you guys, just to update you, the suspect in this case is dead. We're going to wrap this one up, though. If you are a member, we're doing members only tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. I would love to see you guys there. Everybody have a good night. Get a good night's sleep.
For donuts.
Have some donuts in the morning and some coffee. You haven't seen her anywhere and you hope she's okay and got your package. I didn't know you sent her a package. Send her an email. She's on Twitter. I believe you can find her on Twitter. Brian and Jill, just a sick human pissed off at the world. Maybe we'll have more info tomorrow as well. So if there's any updates tomorrow, I will go live and we can talk about those, okay? Good night, everybody. We're going to run our credits and dance it out into the night. Thanks, you guys. And everybody, please stay safe. And remember, I love you all. I had to come back. I totally forgot it was Father's Day tomorrow. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and to all the moms pulling double duty. Happy Father's Day to you as well. If you have your dad, I wanted to say this. If you have your dad and you can spend time tomorrow, spend time. Spend time when you can. I love you guys. Good night. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this live stream or video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my latest content. Want to take it a step further?
Bring it all in.
And join our community clickers by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord server, special channel perks, and much more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to France, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call you back.
Fucking fuzzy slippers and lip gloss.